Well, hello again. I'm Dean Jones, President and CEO of Realogics, Sotheby's International Realty, with market perspectives. But this time we're turning the camera around on a luminary and a thought leader in our industry, Ann Hartnett, our founder and publisher of Seattle Agent Magazine. Welcome.
Thanks for having me, Dean.
I'm so excited to talk to you because you do more in our industry, especially for our region here, than I think all the other media platforms combined. And so first and foremost, thank you for doing that.
Well, thank you. That's a fantastic compliment.
Well, just look at what we're doing right now. I mean, to spend some time talking about industry trends and some collaborations that we're doing together, but you have a very important megaphone to the broker community, and I just couldn't appreciate you more.
Well, thanks. We love working with you, and we love being in the Puget Sound area and working with all the brokerages here.
Well, you're not just in the Puget Sound
Correct.
region, are you? Tell us a little more about your overall platform.
I'll back up a little bit on how we got started. It was probably going on 25 years ago, and I had just started my own kind of advertising and marketing consultancy. And I was living in Chicago, and it was back in the day when there were several developers building 200-unit condo buildings.
Sure.
And I landed one real estate developer client and builder, and then another and another, and pretty soon my portfolio was about 75%
Wow.
residential real estate. And I'm sitting in my weekly meeting with one of my developer clients, and he's not happy. And this was pre-internet, and he was like, I'm tired of spending $50,000 a month in the Chicago Tribune. All I get are tire kickers. I need to reach agents.
Right.
Agents have buyers. How do I do that? And I was like, there's no way to do that. Fast forward to my business partner, who was working for a company that did on-site sales for new construction. We had chatted about it and realized there's nothing that brings the residential real estate community together. In a transaction, there's usually a realtor and agent.
Right.
There's most likely a lender, a builder if it's new construction, title, appraiser, inspector, stager, etc. And we decided to write a business plan, get some friends and family money, and we launched Chicago Agent Magazine. And after doing that for a couple of years, we realized this could be a really great platform to roll out across the country.
I agree.
So we decided to roll it out, and we're in 9 markets now.
9 markets, 25 years in, and it's not like there's nothing to talk about in our
Correct.
industry. I mean, wow.
What's interesting as well, now I reside in the Seattle area, every market is so unique, and there are issues that happen cross-market on a national level, like what's happening with rates, but every market has its nuance.
Right.
So where a lot of, I feel, the residential real estate publications are at 30,000 feet, we're eye to eye with the agent that's doing business in each of our markets, the hardworking agents that are, need to be educated on new platforms and new issues every day. And that's what we love to do.
Well, and I like that it's not just a 30,000 foot level, but you really get into the weeds on these topics, and you are eye to eye, hand to hand with collaboration. And I think this is an important statement because, look, there's a lot of brands out there, and there's competition, and whether it's for broker recruit or for a listing, but there's also the opportunity to do business together. And agnostic to the brands, we share this platform as one community. And I think this is an important point to make about you, is that you have a relationship with all the brands, and you want to create more flow, less friction with the way the business can be done, because the rising tides, they're going to float all the boats.
I think that, the most successful agents have great relationships with agents from other companies.
Right.
They help get the deal done. I think there's nothing more an agent likes less than having someone on the opposite end of the deal that doesn't know what they're doing, and then they end up carrying the whole deal.
Well, that happens. But I do think that that's part of your audience. So as much as you're looking for buyers and sellers as the consumer, your audience as a broker are other brokers, and your reputation and how you carry yourself, it matters, doesn't it?
Absolutely. I feel like there's been some instances where if there was an agent on the other side of the deal that blew it or didn't know what they're doing, that gets around as well.
Right. Well, and what you do with the who's who in real estate, we've been so fortunate to be featured with many of our great brokers, and what we're doing with our Agents of Distinction platform, which we're going to roll out soon with you as well. And that's just us working with you to try and celebrate those agents that we really feel go above and beyond to share their story. And I think Seattle Agent Magazine is a great way to do that, because we're just so proud of the company we keep, and we couldn't be, more pleased to share that with your community.
And I'm sure the agents appreciate your support.
I think it's a big part of what we do as a broker owner, and we want to provide them with unique tools and advantages that, to me, it's not an advantage if it doesn't help the broker, and if it's not exclusive to your company, then it's just another commoditized widget, and I don't want that for our brokers. I'm looking for something that's distinct, novel, and adding value to them. Let's speak a little bit about adding value. In all the changes that are going on in our industry, there's going to be more than a week of content if you could curate it, but you have your upcoming Accelerate Summit on March 25th. Tell me more about the ignition point for that idea and what our brokers could expect.
Well, for us, I think it's a natural extension of the media brand. And again, we like to do this in the individual markets and get the local brokerages, lenders, companies that are involved in residential real estate involved and talk about what's happening. And you'll find that we have a great panel coming up on House Bill 1110. That's going to be great. One of the things I think at our advisory board meeting, which you were on, that sounds like a pain point for agents where it's still they're building the plane while they're flying it and figuring out how to appraise it. And I think, as always, consumers have a different opinion on their property value based on this now, or just even questions in general. I have a lot of friends who have asked me about it and say, can I build a dadu or anything on my property? And it's a tricky question. And
well, it's a policy that you need to get that perspective. And I think adding that value is important as publications such as yours in an event like that. So I think bringing a few hundred of the best and the brightest to share and collaborate, regardless of their pipeline, regardless of their brand, they can learn from one another because the policy is omnipresent. House Bill 1110 is here and it's part of our business, as are other Senate bills and income tax proposals and what's going on with clear cooperation and some of these other pressure points that we're facing as an industry. We need to talk about it because we're all part of it, regardless of where your opinions may lay.
Absolutely. Some of the other programming that we're having that day is we have a great AI speaker that's really going to drill down and speak on an agent level on how you can automate your business and how it can help with listings and how it can help with comps and how it can help give you back some hours in a day. What I think is interesting about being a residential real estate agent today is you're not just selling homes. You have to be a social media expert. You have to be a negotiation expert. You have to do your own PR. It's just, advertising agency. You have to be everything, or you have to really spend the money to farm that out.
Well, and I think that's why tech stacks are so important. And perhaps one of the greatest gifts that's come from this Anywhere Compass merger is the fact that the CEO, Robert Reffkin, has pledged that tech stack that they've spent over $1 billion in many years perfecting is going to be available to all of the affiliates, regardless of their brand. And so that's something that we're very much looking forward to, because at the end of the day, we all want to be more efficient. And rather than working through multiple different platforms or learning a new app every other weekend, a one and done solution sounds pretty darn attractive to me.
Well, speaking of the merger, Dean, how is it going for you and your agents?
It's still relatively new. I can't believe how fast that all occurred. It was only 4 months ago where that was first announced. It's going great. Actually, there's a lot of excitement. I haven't been this tickled in this career path since I founded my company in 2002. So over 25 years of evolution, this might be the most significant activity that we've seen as an industry, as well as for our individual franchise. On that point, we are still an independent franchise. There have been no mandates passed down. There are no restrictions or exclusions. We have the full integrity as a Sotheby's International Realty franchise affiliate. And I only see it as being added value, given the tech stack as well as other resources that are going to make its way through greater efficiencies as an operator in this business, especially in this market at this time. So I really like our first class seats that we have as a marquee brand. Our brokers are excited to receive some of those benefits. And at the end of the day, supply and demand isn't equally distributed anyways. We know that it was an attractive brand to acquire because of the international network. And so that's only going to increase the dependency on the flow of referrals in all those markets that matter across 120 countries and now 340,000 real estate agents working together as one. So Anywhere company in some ways hasn't gone anywhere because most of the executives are still in their seats, firmly placed, running that suite of independent brands. And it's now just owned by a holding company that is in ownership direction with the Compass executive team. And for the rest of it, I think we need to remember, just like what happened when Compass acquired At Properties and Christie's International Real Estate from your homeland of Chicago many years ago, those companies are really still operating independently with their brands, are they not?
They are.
Mm-hmm. So there's a good case point for what's likely to happen with this other merger acquisition. I think a year ago, we had opined on a Fox podcast before about this is going to be the year of the mega brokerage and a lot of consolidation, but also mergers and acquisitions. I didn't particularly think it was going to play out like it did and so quickly, but I'm really happy that our brand was chosen to be part of that mothership. And I think there's certainly efficiencies and advantages that are going to come from that. I will also say there's plenty of room for the independent companies out there, for the local brands. There's all kinds of cloud-based solutions, and brokers are going to make a decision about where they want to align with the tools and the culture that they can find with those different companies. So I always feel like competition is a healthy thing because we're better for it. And I think that wherever we can improve our overall market position, that we're going to do that. And this is just an accelerant for us at this time. So 2026 is a very auspicious year, and I think the best is yet to come.
Well, one of the things that the company and I really enjoyed is being involved in your FutureCast, which again, that's part of our reason for being, is to keep agents informed and to keep them abreast of things that are happening and changing in the industry. And that's kind of where we piggyback off with our event coming up. So
100%.
Like you, we want to give agents the tools and the information to be successful.
The FutureCast Forum was founded back in 2016 and 17 because the year of 2020 was coming around the corner, and it just was so interesting to look at that kind of perfect vision for the future. And there were a lot of policy changes that were afoot, and obviously the Seattle area had record growth, fastest growing large city in the United States. And we were just wondering how this is going to affect the municipal governance, other policies, obviously design and development and consumerism and all that kind of stuff. And so over the years, we've created a brand about looking forward. And we share that with our community, much like you do with your conversations behind Seattle Agent Magazine and your other publications. So we're so appreciative that you were a sponsor and a participant, and we're going to keep that conversation rolling forward. And I think some of that are on similar topics on what we're doing on March 25th with the Accelerate platform. Yeah,
we're excited to have some of the top producers in the Puget Sound area to sit on the panel and talk about their growth, their mindset, how they're looking at 2026. So we're excited, and we'll be announcing more panelists shortly. We're excited to have our friend Matthew Gardner kind of shore up what's happening in real estate and the economy. And we're looking forward, and we're adding some more panels. They'll be announced soon.
Yeah, well, I just think it's going to be a fantastic opportunity. I'm a real believer in building better brokers, and we do that through inspiration, education, and activation. And when we do it together, we just become better together, right? So thank you for that service of bringing us to the Accelerate. Is this going to be an annual event, you think, or is it sort of a regional thing that roams around the country?
It roams around the country. This is our first event in the Seattle area. We've done it before, obviously in Chicago, our kind of home market, and then we've done them in our Texas markets. So this is our first one post-COVID. So we're excited to get them fired up again. And it's exciting that the community is excited to be involved and to have a day of learning where, they don't have to travel. It's not thousands of dollars to attend. They don't have to ditch their business for 3 days, 5 days a week.
What are the trends that you're seeing in brokerage or in agent trajectory that you feel is novel, knowing that there is 33,000 licensees in the Northwest MLS, and there's only so much business to go around. So there's a lot of competition. And I know for one, we want to be a standout on many levels and resist that commoditization. What do you see in the road forward that is novel?
Well, I think, again, with the consolidation, I think you're attracting agents that want that support, want that recognition, and want that culture. I think real estate is always going to be an industry that has several business models that suit different people based on whether they want to be independent alone, operate in the cloud, or they want that environment that feeds them.
Well, we're in one of those environments, and I think we've been unique in the way we view the brokerage operation. We have these hybrid retail environments that are one part social club and food and beverage operation, of course.
And we just got an announcement that you're opening up another one.
Yeah, Hill Harper is joining us in our flagship Madison Park location on our 10th anniversary. And we were approached by the landlord and said, we've noticed what you've done in Kirkland and here on Old Main Street with Hocovine Bistro and Adrian Lopez doing great business and creating a lifestyle center that is more of an 18-hour operation. We don't want our windows to go dark. And obviously these are expensive locations with high price points for the TI. And so why does it have to be just a single purpose use? Why can't it be a community center, a venue for food and beverage, private events, sort of that Goldilocks moment somewhere between the private dining room in a restaurant or the grand ballroom at a hotel? We want to be that right fit, which feels like it can be bespoke for the private event you're doing or for our brokerage operation. So this is actually now going to be our 5th location where we have that sort of food and beverage lifestyle use. And I just feel it's going to activate more retail conversations for our brokers and provide the lifestyle services that they're looking for as well. You've been in a lot of brokerage offices and you've seen a lot of cultures. What do you find that's distinct about our brand here at Realogics Sotheby's International Realty?
Again, I think in the agents that I know that are Realogics Sotheby's and some of the interviews we've done with your recruiting and managing brokers, that's what agents come to you for, is to have that teamwork and to have that collaboration and to be part of a collection of people who are like-minded and can help each other and work to be better agents.
We're trying really hard to provide them with those advantages, learning from one another, but also exploring opportunities in new development or through feeder markets with our referral program. I mean, that's a real differentiator for us. More and more, especially with the great wealth transfer and $100 trillion of capital flow between the generations, we're noticing more and more a willingness to live and work in a different way, oftentimes in many different locations. And so that's going to create a lot of liquidity within the real estate community. So I think it's a real advantage to have those referral networks and not try to overly position yourself as being, you know, the Queen of Queen Anne or the Maven of Mercer Island. You want to be a global real estate advisor that can service all the property types and price points across all the markets that we serve. And so that's a very key differentiator for us and something that we see is increasing, especially with these tax policies, which Washington's doing their fair share of also with these, you know, millionaire tax and this billionaire tax in California. I mean, what might happen there? Did you see this?
Yeah, it's going to be interesting.
Well, I mean, capital flight happens when they impose these sort of taxations, and there's going to be winner and loser states, of course, but it's still going to be a net increase of transactions, which is probably good for the real estate community. So, Anne, we've done some campaigns, whether it's our developers or from our brand with you, and I've been really impressed with the open rates and the followership that you've generated on social media. I mean, tell us again, what are those stats with your membership?
We have about 16 to 17,000 newsletter subscribers, which are predominantly agents who love to get updates on what's happening in the market, what's happening between brokerages, legislation, new tech tools, new products. So I think agents really love having that in their inbox. And then, of course, there's the website, where once someone usually lands on the site, they're clicking around with all the headlines that we have, or even what's happening, who's switching brokerages, and the local news there.
Yeah, there's plenty of curiosity within the brokerage community, and I think you do a great job at keeping us all together and giving us exciting events to look forward to, such as the Accelerate Summit on March 25th. So we'll look forward to seeing you there, and we'll look forward to seeing our audience there. Well, Anne, thanks for visiting with us. This has been Market Perspectives. We look forward to seeing you next time, and don't forget to follow us on social media.
Thanks, Dean.